The story follows manager Kim, a legendary former secret agent who was once feared by everyone. But on his way home, a tattooed man deliberately flicks cigarette ash onto him. Kim simply smiles and walks away. Thinking Kim is an easy target, the man suddenly drives straight into him. He then pretends to be the victim and even demands compensation from Kim. Despite everything, Kim apologizes instead of fighting back. Even after taking a hard punch, he refuses to retaliate. The reason is simple. Kim knows that every move he makes is being monitored around the clock. Years earlier, Kim was one of North Korea's most elite secret agents. After being betrayed by his own organization, he managed to escape to South Korea. There, he became a double agent for the intelligence service and carried out some of its most dangerous assassination missions. One day, after completing a mission, Kim rushes to the hospital and receives devastating news. His wife is dying after giving birth to their daughter, Minji. With her final breath, she asks Kim to abandon his dangerous past and raise their daughter properly. Determined to honor her last wish, Kim even forces his superiors to approve his retirement. From that day forward, he conceals his true identity and lives as an ordinary father, dedicating his entire life to Minji. However, as Minji enters her teenage years, she begins distancing herself from him. Although they live under the same roof, they barely speak to each other. What Kim doesn't realize is that the daughter he would sacrifice everything to protect is being bullied at school every day. A girl named Hyeri and her two friends constantly make Minji's life miserable. They mock her for smelling like an old man. They make fun of her because she no longer has a mother. They even throw her books across the floor. Minji tries to defend herself, but standing up to them only makes the bullying worse. With her birthday approaching, Kim becomes worried that she might eventually encounter dangerous people, so he decides to buy her something that can help her defend herself. However, his co-worker Sang-ah tells him that teenage girls would probably prefer fashionable clothes. Following her advice, Kim spends 500,000 won on an expensive t-shirt. When he returns home, he quietly hides the gift inside a drawer. He then tries to have a conversation with Minji, but she coldly tells him to wash their clothes separately because she doesn't want her clothes to smell like an old man. Back in her room, Minji checks Hyeri's social media. She becomes jealous of Hyeri's exciting lifestyle. She also starts developing feelings for Hoon, Hyeri's boyfriend. The next day during gym class, Minji discovers that someone has thrown her sports uniform into the trash. Just when she doesn't know what to do, Hoon lends her his sports jacket. But the moment Hyeri notices Hoon's name on the jacket, she becomes furious. Meanwhile, Kim meets two old friends for their annual reunion. All three men were once legendary agents who had taken countless lives. Now, however, they have buried their violent pasts and live peaceful, ordinary lives. While they are talking, several thugs begin harassing the owner of the restaurant. Everyone around them pretends not to notice. Only Jin-chul continues watching the situation. Kim and their other friend Han-soo quickly try to pull him away, but one of the thugs suddenly throws a cup of hot tea at Jin-chul. Even then, Jin-chul forces himself to remain calm. The situation changes when the thug notices a photograph of Jin-chul's daughter and starts making disgusting remarks about her. That is the final straw. Jin-chul charges into the group and brutally beats the thugs until none of them can fight back. Han-soo asks Kim whether they should step in, but Kim refuses to get involved and simply walks away. Eventually, the police arrive and use a taser to stop Jin-chul. Elsewhere, Minji returns Hoon's sports jacket. The two talk and laugh together for a while. Unfortunately, Hyeri sees them once again. After school, she drags Minji into a storage room and slaps her twice. Minji desperately explains that she was only returning the jacket because someone had thrown her gym uniform into the trash. But Hyeri refuses to listen.
She says she isn't angry because Minji likes Hoon.
Instead, she claims Minji smells like a motherless child and could make Hoon dirty as well. The moment Hyeri insults her mother, Minji finally loses control. She fights back and beats Hyeri without holding anything back. Soon afterward, Kim receives a call from the school. The teacher warns him that Hyeri's father is Ju Gang-chan, the powerful chairman of Juhak Construction. He also tells Kim not to make the situation any worse. When Kim arrives at the school, Minji breaks down in tears. She tells her father that Hyeri has been bullying her for a long time. She explains that today was simply the first time she finally fought back. Then she begs her father to protect her. Instead, Kim kneels before Hyeri's parents and apologizes. He desperately asks them to forgive Minji. He even promises to transfer her to another school immediately. Because Minji has no mother, Chairman Ju decides to let the matter go this time. Before leaving, however, he warns the principal that if anything like this happens again, the school and everyone involved will be ruined. Minji is devastated by her father's actions. She accuses him of refusing to believe her and humiliating himself in front of powerful people. For the first time, she feels ashamed of the father she once depended on. Before leaving, Minji tells her father that she will spend the night at a friend's house and warns him not to call her. Meanwhile, Minji wanders the streets alone until Hoon sends her a message asking her to meet behind the school. At the same time, Kim visits his wife's grave and quietly tells her how difficult his life has become. As midnight approaches, his concern for Minji becomes overwhelming. He calls her, but she doesn't answer. The next morning, he tries again, only to discover that her phone has been switched off. Worried, Kim contacts Minji's friend and learns that she never stayed at her house. A terrible realization immediately hits him. Kim rushes to the school, but Minji is nowhere to be found. She hasn't even attended class. Just then, Hoon arrives with bruises covering his face. He tells Kim that he never sent Minji that message. Realizing someone must have used Hoon's phone to lure her away, Kim follows his information and races toward the school's back gate. When he arrives, he finds only a large pool of blood and a hair tie lying on the ground. Kim recognizes it immediately. It belongs to Hiri. Moments later, Hyori returns with a thug, apparently intending to remove any remaining evidence. Kim holds up the hair tie and demands to know where Minji is. The thug becomes furious when Kim refuses to back down. He removes his shirt, revealing a body covered in tattoos as he tries to intimidate him, but neither of them realizes how dangerous Kim truly is. With a single punch, Kim sends the thug crashing to the ground. He then forces the man to reveal everything he knows. Terrified for his life, the thug finally tells Kim what happened. The previous night, they kidnapped Hoon under Hyori's orders. They then used Hoon's phone to lure Minji to the back of the school. As soon as she arrived, Hyori and the others surrounded her, but Minji refused to surrender. She tells Hyori that she will never lower her head the way her father did. The two girls immediately start fighting. Minji manages to overpower Hyori and throws her hard onto the ground. Enraged, Hyori completely loses control. She grabs a brick and strikes Minji directly on the head. Minji collapses instantly. Blood begins spreading across the ground. One of the attackers panics and suggests calling an ambulance, but the thug is terrified that everyone will be blamed for what happened. He takes away their phones and contacts a gangster named Omen, asking him to dispose of the body. Hyori then reveals that her father is Ju Gongchan, the chairman of Juhok Construction. She promises that he will be generously rewarded if he makes the problem disappear without leaving any evidence. When the gang leader, Golden Teeth, hears Chairman Ju's name, he immediately orders Omen to handle the job. Soon afterward, they arrive at the location and place Minji inside the trunk of a car. During the journey, Golden Teeth cleverly tricks Hiri into admitting that she attacked Minji. He secretly records her entire confession. After discovering the truth, Kim returns home and opens a weapon case that has remained untouched for years. The retired agent finally decides to bring back the man he had buried long ago. Kim storms into one of the gang's hideouts. The thugs rush toward him, but he takes them down within seconds. He then grabs an axe and throws it directly at the black market doctor. Hearing the chaos outside, Omin realizes that something has gone terribly wrong. He tries to escape through a window but gets caught in the razor wire outside. Kim drags him to the water and demands to know where Minji has been taken. Instead of cooperating, Omin mocks Kim and tells him that he fights like a little girl. Kim calmly picks up a coin and crushes it with his bare hand. He then shoots Omin in the leg. Kim coldly tells him that the only reason he is still alive is because Kim believes Minji might still be alive. Just then, Omin receives a message from his boss. Kim grabs the phone and tries to contact him through a voice call. However, Golden Teeth immediately realizes what is happening. He orders Big Guy to shut down their group chat and destroy his phone. Kim only manages to read the final message. The girl has been taken care of. At that moment, Kim completely breaks down. For years, he endured humiliation, insults, and beatings just to keep his identity hidden and raise his daughter peacefully. Yet after everything he sacrificed, he still couldn't protect Minji. Overcome with despair, Kim orders Omin to contact his boss at any cost. Before he can get any answers, a group of police officers suddenly storms in and arrests Kim. Meanwhile, Jin Cheol is also being held at the police station after violently confronting several thugs the previous night. To make matters worse, footage of the fight spreads across the internet and quickly goes viral. North Korean intelligence intercepts the video and makes a shocking discovery. Kim is still alive. The news quickly reaches the highest-ranking officials. To them, Kim is a traitor who defected to South Korea. As long as he remains alive, they consider him a serious threat. Director Lee summons the organization's most lethal operative and orders him to secretly enter South Korea and eliminate Kim. At the same time, South Korea's Special Mission Bureau goes on high alert. Director Kang understands that if someone as dangerous as Kim falls into North Korean hands, the consequences could be catastrophic. They must locate Kim before North Korea gets to him. Later that night, a North Korean agent named Sean secretly enters South Korea by sea. After meeting his contact, Sean learns that Kim's old friend Jin Cheol is being held at a local police station. He immediately infiltrates the station. After quietly overpowering an officer, Sean steals his uniform. While delivering food to the prisoners, he approaches Jin Cheol and demands Kim's home address. Afraid that Sean might hurt innocent people, Jin Cheol reluctantly gives him Kim's address. As soon as Sean leaves, Jin Cheol starts planning his escape. He apologizes to his cellmate, then suddenly beats him and begins shouting for help. When a guard rushes in, Jin Cheol takes the opportunity to escape from the station. Meanwhile, Hiri can't sit still in her room. She is terrified that someone might discover what happened to Minji. Whenever she remembers Kim's scar-covered body, fear takes over. Chairman Ju assumes she is simply afraid of being bullied again. He comforts her and promises that he will protect her no matter what happens. It turns out that Chairman Ju was once a gangster. He eventually took control of Juhok Construction and built a powerful empire. The bodyguards surrounding him are all former Special Forces mercenaries. When money can't solve a problem, Chairman Ju relies on violence instead. Golden Teeth has personally witnessed how ruthless he can be. This time, Golden Teeth pretends to help Hiri cover everything up. In reality, he is searching for a way to use the incident against Chairman Ju. He even edits the recording of his conversation with Hiri, planning to use it as blackmail. Before leaving, he notices the smell of blood coming from the trunk. Disgusted, Exhausted, he orders his men to cover Minji's body with a plastic sheet, but none of them notices that one of Minji's fingers suddenly moves. Back at the police station, Kim refuses to say a single word. With no other option, the officers scan his fingerprints to identify him. However, the computer suddenly displays an alarming message: access denied. At that moment, Kim's phone begins to ring. An officer looks at the screen and reads the caller's name aloud. "My daughter." Hearing those words, Kim suddenly springs into action. He quickly takes down everyone inside the station, but by the time he answers the phone, the caller has already disconnected. Furious, Kim smashes a metal locker before storming out of the station. Because Kim is using an old flip phone, the Special Mission Bureau cannot immediately track his location. Director Kang orders the surveillance team to switch to a direct tracking operation. The team is led by Kim's neighbor Lim and his co-worker Sang-ah. Meanwhile, Sean has already broken into Kim's house. After finding the place empty, he prepares to leave, but Jin Cheol suddenly appears in his path. A fierce fight breaks out immediately. When bullets are fired at him, Jin Cheol grabs a frying pan and uses it as a makeshift shield. He manages to knock the gun from Sean's hand, and the two begin fighting at close range. Realizing that he cannot defeat Jin Cheol, Sean leaps over the wall and escapes. Jin Cheol wants to pursue him, but his age prevents him from keeping up. After both men leave, Lim quietly emerges from behind the curtain. He immediately reports everything to Director Kang. Just then, Kang receives another report that Kim has gone to a taekwondo gym. The gym is owned by Han Soo, an Olympic taekwondo gold medalist. Years earlier, Han Soo had also carried out a secret mission in North Korea, alongside Kim and Jin Cheol. Kim asks Han Soo to lend him the command vehicle so he can search for Minji. The moment Han Soo learns that Minji is missing, he agrees without hesitation. However, just as they are preparing to leave, Kang arrives with his team. He grabs a young boy and holds him hostage, ordering Kim and Han Soo to surrender. Unexpectedly, the boy suddenly kicks him and breaks free. Kim and Han Soo immediately strike back and take down the attackers. They then rush toward the rooftop. Kim holds off the pursuing enemies while Han Soo provides cover and lowers an escape rope. The two men climb down and escape in the command vehicle. Han Soo immediately activates its tracking system to locate Minji's phone. Just as they receive a signal, Jin Cheol calls them. At first, he believes Kim is only being hunted by North Korean agents, but when he learns that Minji is missing, he becomes furious and immediately heads toward their location. Meanwhile, Hiri locks herself inside her room for several days. Chairman Ju notices that something is seriously wrong. He orders his trusted aide, Nam, to investigate what happened. Nam quickly hacks into Hiri's social media account. He discovers that she has been communicating with a local thug. After paying the thug a large amount of money, Nam learns that Minji is believed to be dead. He also discovers that her father is an exceptionally dangerous fighter. After hearing the report, Chairman Ju immediately orders Nam to silence the thug. He then tries to uncover Kim's identity, but surprisingly, he can't find any information about Kim's past. After learning that Kim has a daughter, the North Korean agent Sean heads directly to her school. There, he helps a boy who is being bullied. From the boy, Sean learns that Minji has already been suspended. The boy also tells him that Minji's best friend may know where she is. The two girls share their phone locations with each other. Sean quickly tracks down the friend in the school's nurse's office. He takes her phone and uses it to locate Minji. Meanwhile, Kim and Han Soo arrive at the abandoned building before anyone else. The entire place is filled with armed thugs. With no time to waste, Kim steps forward and demands to know who their boss is. When no one answers, Kim takes down one of the thugs and grabs a handful of his hair. The frightened thug has no choice but to lead him to the innermost room. Meanwhile, Han Soo stays outside and fights everyone else by himself. The guard standing at the door threatens to destroy Kim's eyes and ears. A second later, the guard is the one screaming in pain. Kim kicks the door open and discovers dozens of mobile phones covering the room. It turns out the building is being used as a phone scam operation. Just then, Kim notices a phone inside the pocket of a red-haired thug. Attached to it is a heart-shaped keychain that Kim personally gave to Minji. At that moment, Kim completely loses control. He knocks everyone in the room to the ground and grabs the red-haired thug. Kim demands to know where the phone came from. The thug smirks and falsely claims that he spent time with the girl the previous night. Hearing this, Kim instantly snaps. He beats the thug until his face becomes badly swollen. Only then does the thug realize that he has provoked the wrong person. He quickly explains that he has never met Minji and doesn't know who she is. According to him, he bought the phone from a homeless man. Later, he became curious and checked the phone, hoping to find pictures of attractive girls. Instead, he accidentally called Kim. The thug also reveals something heartbreaking. Other than her father, Minji rarely contacted anyone. Even the girl she considered her only friend had been taking advantage of her. Most of the messages were requests for money or demands to buy things. Hearing this, Kim finally breaks down in tears. Only now does he realize that Minji had been suffering through loneliness and bullying all by herself. He also blames himself for kneeling and apologizing to the people who hurt her. Han Soo reminds him that this is not the time to grieve. The most important thing now is to find Minji as quickly as possible. After learning the location of the homeless man, the two prepare to leave. At that moment, Sean suddenly appears and points a gun at Kim. Fortunately, Kim reacts instantly and takes cover with Han Soo. Sean picks up a dropped pistol and continues firing at them. Just then, Lim and Sanga arrive and order Sean to put down his weapon. They also tell Kim to surrender surrender because he has violated his agreement with the government. Kim does not resist. He only asks for one chance to find Minji. He promises that once he knows she is safe, he will surrender immediately. Remembering everything they have experienced together, Lim and Sanga hesitate to pull the trigger. Sean takes advantage of the confusion. He shoots Lim and injures Sanga. By the time Sean moves to chase them, Kim and Hansu have already escaped in their vehicle. Sanga rushes to Lim in tears, believing he has died. To her surprise, Lim suddenly sits up. It turns out that he had secretly been wearing a bulletproof vest. However, there is still bad news. Kim was struck by a bullet during the shootout. While Hansu examines the wound, they nearly collide with Jinchul, who is rushing to meet them. Following the clue provided by the thugs, the three men arrive near a subway station and locate the homeless man. Under pressure from Jinchul, the homeless man admits that a large man with a small ponytail threw the phone into a trash bin. He also remembers that the man was driving a white BMW. Hansu immediately checks nearby security footage. He quickly identifies the white BMW and traces its owner. Elsewhere, Golden Teeth imagines forcing Chairman Ju to kneel before him using the recording as leverage. One of his men asks whether he has a personal grudge against Chairman Ju. The moment Golden Teeth sees Potato, he suddenly becomes furious and brutally beats him. The story then shifts back 9 years. At that time, Chairman Ju planned to demolish an old building. However, many residents strongly opposed the project. To remove the obstacles, Chairman Ju ordered a gang leader to throw Golden Teeth from the building. Soon afterward, the news reported that a janitor had accidentally fallen to his death and the unsafe building had to be demolished. Fortunately, Golden Teeth survived. After recovering, he killed the gang leader and took control of the gang. He later gathered his men and sought revenge against Chairman Ju. But the difference in power was too great. Golden Teeth was beaten so badly that he couldn't fight back. Chairman Ju then ordered Nam to shove a steaming hot potato into his mouth and pull out his teeth one by one. To survive, Golden Teeth had no choice but to kneel and beg for mercy. Every time he remembers that day, he feels overwhelming anger and humiliation. Now, he orders his men to move Minji into a freezer while he prepares his revenge plan. What he doesn't know is that Minji is still alive. Inside the freezer, Minji desperately pounds on the door and cries for help, but no one hears her. At that moment, Golden Teeth heads toward the freezer to take pictures of the body. On the way, he sends the recording to Nam and demands that Chairman Ju come alone to meet him. Chairman Ju immediately confronts Hyori and asks whether she has killed someone. At first, Hyori denies everything, but after her father continues questioning her, she finally admits that she attacked Minji. Chairman Ju angrily slaps Hyori and demands to know why she didn't come to him first. He then pulls her into a hug and promises that he will handle everything. As soon as he leaves, Hyori wipes away her tears. She knows her father will always clean up the problems she creates. Meanwhile, Golden Teeth enters the freezer. The moment Minji hears footsteps approaching, she quickly hides. Just as Golden Teeth is about to discover her, Chairman Ju calls him. Golden Teeth steps outside to answer the phone. He demands that Chairman Ju bring 2 billion won in cash and come alone. He also wants to personally pull out every one of Nam's teeth because Nam was the man who took his teeth years ago. However, Chairman Ju doesn't take the threat seriously. Instead, he gathers a large group of men and decides to deal with Golden Teeth himself. Meanwhile, Kim and his team are closing in on the white BMW. Just then, Kang, who has been waiting on a bridge, presses a detonator. The vehicle suddenly explodes and is thrown into the air. Fortunately, the tracking equipment inside remains functional. Kim immediately looks at the screen. After a tense wait, the live location finally loads. The signal leads them to a port. Knowing that Kim is still alive, Kang orders him to come out. Hansu climbs out of the vehicle first and starts mocking Kang in an almost ridiculous manner. The moment Kang pulls the trigger, Hansu suddenly leaps forward and lands a powerful flying kick. He then keeps Kang occupied, giving Kim enough time to escape. As the backup team arrives, Hansu rams Kang into the sea. After briefly saying goodbye to Jinchul, Hansu also jumps into the water and disappears. Jinchul then approaches the agents with both hands raised and pretends to surrender. Meanwhile, Kim races toward the target port and finally finds the white BMW. He storms into the building and demands to know where Minji is. When the thugs refuse to cooperate, Kim attacks without hesitation. He overwhelms them one after another until they are left unable to fight. At that moment, Golden Teeth hears a strange noise coming from the freezer. He slowly turns around and comes face to face with Minji. Minji quickly locks the freezer door from the inside, trapping Golden Teeth outside. Panicking, he immediately calls his men for help. What he doesn't know is that his men are already being beaten by Kim. The large thug finally admits that Minji is trapped inside the freezer. He also reveals that they were only following Hyori's orders to dispose of the body. The moment Kim hears this, the anger in his eyes becomes terrifying. He warns them that if Minji is truly dead, he will hunt down every person responsible. After taking down the large thug, Kim chases after the skinny man who tries to escape. Kim repeatedly rams into his car until the vehicle is completely wrecked. He then drags the terrified man out of the wreckage. Hearing the commotion, the remaining gang members rush over and surround Kim. Without showing any fear, Kim throws the skinny man into a shipping container. He then challenges all of them to attack him together instead of wasting his time. A few minutes later, Kim opens the container again. The skinny man sees his entire gang lying defeated on the ground. Terrified, he has no choice but to lead Kim toward the freezer. Suddenly, a car speeds toward them and sends both men men flying. The driver is Sean, the North Korean agent who has been hunting Kim. The two immediately engage in a fierce fight. Kim knocks Sean down several times, but Sean refuses to give up. He has only one goal: avenge his brother. His brother was once North Korea's most elite secret agent, known as Agent 66. Sean believes that Kim betrayed Agent 66 and caused his death. Kim pins Sean down and asks whether he is Sean. Years earlier, Kim had seen Agent 66 saying goodbye to his younger brother. Because of that memory, he never forgot the name. Kim slowly releases Sean and tells him that he never killed Agent 66. In reality, the two men had once been more than rivals. They trained together and eventually became brothers in arms who fought side by side. During one mission, Agent 66 lost a leg in an explosion. Kim refused to abandon him. He even raised his weapon, prepared to stay behind and die with him. But Agent 66 stopped him. He told Kim that no matter what happened, Kim had to survive. Eventually, Kim stopped resisting and allowed the South Korean agents to capture him. Only then did he realize that the entire mission had been a carefully arranged trap. At the time, Lee was the organization's second in command. He had deliberately leaked information to South Korea, causing almost the entire team to be wiped out. After the mission failed, the organization abandoned its director. This allowed Lee to rise to the top and take his position. After hearing the full story, Sean remembers the final words Kim said about Agent 66. No matter what happens, stay alive. Sean suddenly realizes that his brother had told him those exact same words before they separated. Elsewhere, Jin Chul, who had only pretended to surrender, finally makes his move. He quickly takes down the agents escorting him. He then studies the wind and water currents to determine where Han-soo is likely to reach the shore. Soon, Han-soo emerges from the water while carrying the unconscious Kang. Both men know that Kang will never willingly give up, so they decide to separate and escape in different directions. Jin Chul steals an agent's car and takes his phone. He also maxes out Kang's bank card, buying a truckload of supplies to prepare for what comes next. Inside the freezer, Minji remembers all the moments she shared with her father. She regrets every hurtful thing she ever said to him. Refusing to give up, she starts searching for a way out. Just then, Golden Teeth becomes distracted. Minji quietly opens the freezer door and lures him inside. She then strikes him with a metal pipe, knocking him unconscious. After escaping the freezer, she knocks out another thug and desperately searches for an exit. Suddenly, a group of men dressed in black arrives. Minji quickly hides inside a nearby warehouse. By the time Kim reaches the freezer, he searches everywhere but can't find her. Just as he begins losing hope, he notices a message Minji has left on the floor. Kim immediately realizes that she is still alive. He runs through the area shouting her name, but the heavy rain is too loud for Minji to hear him. She climbs over a wall and continues running. Fortunately, Kim spots her and immediately gives chase. Meanwhile, Golden Teeth wakes up inside the freezer and comes face to face with Nam. Nam orders his men to remove his fake teeth again and demands to know where Minji has gone. Golden Teeth simply laughs. He tells Nam that Minji is still alive and that her father is the real monster. Nam immediately orders his men to continue searching for her, leaving only one guard behind. Golden Teeth takes advantage of the opportunity and kills the remaining guard with a knife. Minji eventually reaches the roadside and desperately waves at passing vehicles. But nobody stops. Just when she is about to lose hope, a car finally pulls over. Believing she is finally safe, Minji slowly closes her eyes. Meanwhile, Kim contacts Sang-ah and Lim and asks them to check every security camera along the road. He promises that he will surrender as soon as they locate Minji. Sang-ah and Lim report everything to Kang and ask him to help the desperate father one last time. Kang quickly realizes that Kim's greatest weakness is his daughter. He orders every available agent to locate Minji first and then use her as leverage to force Kim to surrender. Before long, the surveillance cameras identify the vehicle Minji entered. To everyone's surprise, the car belongs to Chairman Ju. As soon as Kang receives the news, he leads his agents straight to Chairman Ju's mansion. Sang-ah secretly sends Kim a message informing him that Minji was taken in Chairman Ju's car. Just then, Han-soo arrives on a motorcycle and immediately takes Kim to the mansion. When they arrive, Chairman Ju tells Minji to change into clean clothes and demands that she explain what happened. Minji lies and says she was attacked after leaving the principal's office and later woke up trapped inside the freezer. Throughout her story, she never mentions Hyeri. However, Chairman Ju can tell that she is hiding something. He also realizes that Minji had pretended to be asleep after getting into his car. She hadn't even realized that Chairman Ju was sitting in the back seat. The moment he mentioned Hyeri, Minji understood that she was in danger again. She continues pretending to be innocent. Minji thanks Chairman Ju for saving her and asks to borrow his phone so she can call her father. But Chairman Ju refuses. Instead, he decides that Minji must be killed. Terrified, Minji turns around and tries to escape. However, she is quickly caught. Chairman Ju declares that Hyeri is his precious daughter. No matter what she does, he will always clean up her mistakes. Just then, government agents storm the mansion. Chairman Ju orders his men to take Minji to the basement and lock her up. Kang tells his agents to search the mansion for Minji while he stays behind to negotiate with Chairman Ju, but Nam easily fights off the agents. As both sides reach a tense standoff, Kang receives a call from the Vice Minister of National Security. The Vice Minister angrily orders him to stand down immediately. Outside the mansion, Kim and Han-soo continue watching the situation. When they notice Sang-ah and Lim secretly entering the basement, they immediately immediately split up. Soon afterward, Kang drives to a remote location and meets Sangha. Unexpectedly, Minji steps out of the vehicle. It turns out everything is part of Kang's plan. On the surface, he has launched a massive operation to search for Minji. In reality, the actual rescue mission has already been secretly handed over to Sangha and Lim. The two agents quickly neutralized the guards and rescued Minji. Before she can understand what is happening, Kang puts her into a vehicle and takes her back to headquarters. Meanwhile, Kim quietly takes down an agent left behind using a thin wire. Before the other two agents can react, Kim defeats them as well. He then takes their vehicle and uses its radio to contact Kang. Kim gives him a chilling warning. If anything happens to Minji, he will kill everyone responsible. Kang doesn't believe Kim will willingly surrender even after finding his daughter, so he locks Minji inside an interrogation room and orders the tactical team to hide throughout the building. But Kang has no idea that Kim has already prepared two surprises. Jinchul reaches the armory first and collects a large supply of weapons. At the same time, Hansu hides beneath a vehicle and secretly infiltrates the headquarters. He ambushes a security guard, takes his key card, and quietly slips into the building. After memorizing the layout, he ties up a janitor and crawls through the air vents until he reaches the electrical room. Once there, he sets up a simple trap. Water slowly drips onto the power panel, preparing the way for their escape. Inside the interrogation room, Kang tells Minji that her father is actually a spy. He explains that Kim has lost control of himself and now poses a serious threat to South Korea. Kang wants to know what pushed Kim to this point. Minji finally tells him everything, from her conflict with Hee-ri to the brutal events that followed. After hearing the entire story, Kang gives a bitter smile. He can't believe Kim managed to suppress his true identity for more than 10 years, only to unleash it all because of a conflict between teenagers. Minji is equally shocked. She never imagined that her quiet and timid father was actually a highly trained spy. Realizing that Minji has nothing more useful to reveal, Kang locks her inside an isolation room. Not long afterward, Minji suddenly hears Hansu's voice coming from above. He quickly opens the air vent and pulls her inside. Just as they escape, the vice minister arrives at headquarters and orders Kang to hand Minji over immediately. Kang becomes convinced that the vice minister has been influenced by Chairman Ju and is now acting like his puppet. He warns that if they push Kim too far, everyone could end up dead. Meanwhile, Minji continues crawling through the air vents while following Hansu's instructions. Suddenly, the electrical room shorts out. A loud alarm immediately echoes throughout the entire building. Using the confusion as cover, Hansu leads Minji toward the underground parking garage. However, Kang and dozens of agents are already waiting for them there. Hansu quietly tells Minji to run toward the emergency exit as soon as he counts to 3. At the final moment, Jinchul arrives carrying heavy weapons. He throws flashbangs and smoke grenades before opening fire. When Kang realizes that Jinchul is completely unharmed, he figures out that the weapons are loaded with blanks. He immediately orders his agents to fire back. The 3 take cover behind a vehicle and barely survive the intense gunfire. Just as Jinchul raises a white flag and pretends to surrender, the vice minister suddenly orders everyone to lower their weapons. He then begins moving forward as if he were being controlled by invisible strings. The person pulling those strings is Kim, who is watching from above. However, Kang has already lost control of the situation and orders his team to open fire. The team leader refuses to let the vice minister be killed and commands everyone to lower their weapons. Kang still attempts to fire, but Jinchul shoots the wall beside him, reminding him that his weapon is loaded with real ammunition. With everyone frozen in place, Minji runs straight toward her father and hugs him tightly. To guarantee their escape, Jinchul places what appears to be a landmine on the ground. He claims that it is a special device triggered by sound and movement. According to him, even the slightest movement will cause it to explode. He orders everyone to raise their hands before leaving with Kim and the others. As they drive through the gate, they casually throw the vice minister out of the vehicle. Once they reach safety, Minji looks at her badly injured father and begins crying. She feels guilty for everything he has suffered because of her. Kim also blames himself for not finding and rescuing her sooner. He then asks Jinchul to take them to a restaurant so Minji can finally have a proper meal. What they don't realize is that Nam has been watching their every move. Just then, Chairman Ju calls Nam and orders him to capture both Kim and Minji. He wants to discover the true identity of the man who once knelt before him and begged for forgiveness. After finishing their meal, the 4 prepare to leave. Suddenly, several trucks rush in from different directions and surround them. Before they can react, a group of thugs appears and pulls their entire vehicle into a shipping container. Kim immediately comforts Minji and tells her not to be afraid. Hansu also warns Jinchul not to do anything reckless. But Jinchul believes this is the perfect opportunity for him to make a heroic entrance. The moment he climbs out of the vehicle, the container fills with sleeping gas. To protect Minji, Hansu quickly closes the sunroof. Jinchul, however, soon loses consciousness. Not long afterward, the truck arrives at an abandoned mine. After confirming that everyone appears unconscious, Nam orders his men to open the cargo doors. Suddenly, Hansu steps on the accelerator and drives the vehicle straight out. Kim and Hansu immediately charge into the crowd and begin fighting the attackers. Nam sneaks into the container, intending to take Minji away, but Jinchul suddenly sits upright. Without saying a word, Nam throws a powerful punch at him. Instead of fighting back immediately, Jinchul first moves Minji somewhere safe. He then mocks Nam for his weak punches before launching a brutal counterattack. Meanwhile, Kim notices the truck suddenly speeding away. He immediately runs up a nearby slope. Without hesitation, he leaps from the slope and lands on top of the moving truck. Kim crawls toward the cab, pulls the driver out, and takes control of the vehicle. Back inside the cargo area, Nam pulls out a knife and attempts to fight Jin-cheol. Jin-cheol bites down on Nam's wrist and then beats him until his face is covered in bruises. Terrified by Jin-cheol's strength, Nam can only beg for mercy. But Jin-cheol refuses to show any compassion and sends him flying with a powerful kick. So, this is definitely a middle-aged man you never want to provoke. By the time Kim drives the truck back, Hansu has already dealt with the remaining thugs. They notice the badge on Nam and quickly realize that the attackers are connected to Juhok Construction. Kim understands that as long as Chairman Ju remains free, they will never be truly safe. So, he drives straight to Chairman Ju's mansion. Even at this point, Chairman Ju still doesn't understand how serious the situation has become. He arrogantly lectures Kim and tells him that, as a father, he should be ashamed for failing to protect his own daughter. He then offers Kim 100 million won every month to become his personal servant. Hearing this, Kim grabs Chairman Ju by the ribs and drives a powerful punch into him. After being humiliated, Chairman Ju grabs a katana and tries to fight back, but the weapon is completely useless against Kim. Chairman Ju can only crawl away from him. In his panic, he stumbles down the stairs. Just as Kim is about to finish him, Minji suddenly calls out to her father. She doesn't want Kim to spill any more blood because of her. Kim finally decides to spare Chairman Ju's life. However, he orders him to apologize directly to Minji. Chairman Ju begs for mercy and reminds Kim that they are both fathers with daughters. Ironically, those are almost the exact words Kim once used while kneeling before him. In the end, Minji tells Chairman Ju to take Hairi to the police and turn themselves in. As he watches them leave, Chairman Ju is consumed by humiliation and hatred. Elsewhere, Kang and the other agents have been standing obediently for 4 straight hours. But there is one problem. The supposed landmine was completely fake. Jin-cheol had fooled every one of them. Later that night, the general personally leads an armed team to surround Kim's home. Inside, Kim prepares a large meal for Minji and gives her a birthday present. Then he finally tells her the truth. Kim reveals that he was once a North Korean agent. He had promised his wife that he would never return to that dangerous life and would spend the rest of his days simply being Minji's father. But now, they are forced to face another painful goodbye. Maybe they will meet again someday, or perhaps this will be the last time they ever see each other. Holding back his tears, Kim walks outside and surrenders. Hansu and Jin-cheol are also arrested shortly afterward. While the 3 men are locked away, Chairman Ju is already preparing his revenge. He hires a powerful lawyer to clear both himself and Hairi of all charges. He then uses 6 gold bars to bribe an assemblyman. Meanwhile, Golden Teeth gets a new set of gold teeth. Sean, the North Korean agent, is also secretly waiting for another opportunity to strike. Not long afterward, 3 mysterious men enter Kim's cell and inject him with a sedative. When Kim wakes up, he is horrified to discover that he has been taken back to North Korea. The interrogators want information about South Korea, so they subject him to brutal questioning and torture. But no matter how much pressure they apply, Kim refuses to reveal a single secret. Eventually, the interrogator loses patience. He arrogantly threatens to make Kim's daughter suffer the same pain. Those words push Kim beyond his limit. Just as the interrogator prepares to shock him again, Kim suddenly attacks and bites down hard on his neck. Once the man loses consciousness, Kim immediately breaks free from his restraints. But when he rushes out of the room, he finds the general and Kang waiting outside. Kim then discovers that everything was actually a test. The general had arranged the entire scenario to determine whether Kim was truly loyal to South Korea. The general announces that Kim has passed. He then offers him an even more dangerous mission. If Kim succeeds, he will not only regain his freedom, but also receive a new identity and have the chance to live with Minji again. Kim asks what the mission involves. Kang explains that a high-ranking North Korean official recently defected to South Korea and requested political asylum. The problem is that North and South Korea are currently engaged in sensitive high-level negotiations. If the defection becomes public, the talks could collapse and relations between the 2 countries could deteriorate rapidly. Kim's mission is to protect the defecting official until the negotiations are successfully completed. The general also promises that the Special Missions Bureau will keep Minji safe. Kim eventually agrees to the mission. However, he demands that Hansu and Jin-cheol be released immediately. For personal reasons, Kang refuses to do so. Instead, he orders his men to abandon the 2 men in the middle of nowhere as punishment. Without any money or transportation, Hansu and Jin-cheol have no choice but to walk all the way home. Meanwhile, the high-level meeting between North and South Korea takes place at a hotel owned by Chairman Ju. Later, Chairman Ju secretly meets with the vice minister and offers him a large amount of money. In exchange, the vice minister reveals Kim's true identity and tells him that Kim has been assigned to protect a North Korean defector. Chairman Ju immediately realizes that his long-awaited opportunity for revenge has finally arrived. By this point, Kim has already reached the port to collect the defector. But to his surprise, the man turns out to be Lee, his former superior. Even worse, Lee is the true traitor responsible for Agent 66's death. Not long ago, North Korean authorities discovered that the mission from 20 years earlier had failed failed because someone leaked the operation's details to South Korea. Lee quickly became their prime suspect. 3 soldiers soon enter his office and attempt to take him away for questioning, but Lee suddenly fights back and manages to escape from North Korea. He is now carrying highly classified information about North Korea's missile program, making him extremely valuable to South Korea. Kim has no choice but to put his hatred aside temporarily and escort Lee to a secure location. While taking a shower, Lee reveals a terrible scar on his waist. Kim discovers that Lee has secretly concealed an important access card inside his body. The next day, delegations from both countries arrive at Chairman Ju's hotel. As soon as the North Korean representative sits down, he receives shocking news that Lee has escaped to South Korea. He immediately prepares to return to his room, but Chairman Ju stops him and asks whether he is searching for Lee. The representative immediately invites Chairman Ju inside for a private conversation. Chairman Ju places 3 gold bars on the table and makes only one request. He wants to kill Kim with his own hands. That night, Kim and his team notice several unfamiliar vehicles entering the supposedly secure area. A large group of men dressed in black storms into the room, but they find it completely empty. They quickly rush back outside. Not far away, Kim is helping Lee get into a vehicle. The attackers immediately pursue them, unaware that they have fallen into a carefully prepared trap. The real Lee is still hiding inside a cabinet in the room. Once the attackers are drawn away, Kim takes Lee into the crowded city where the enemy won't dare to open fire. Kim then contacts Sang-ah and warns her that there may be a mole inside their organization. Otherwise, the attackers could never have located their safe house so quickly. Sang-ah immediately becomes suspicious and stays quiet. Soon afterward, the men in black report that the target has escaped into a crowded residential district. With no safe way to pursue them, they are forced to retreat. Chairman Ju immediately comes up with a new plan. He decides to make the situation spiral completely out of control. He secretly pressures the North Korean representative to demand that the South Korean president hand over both defectors. Otherwise, the ongoing negotiations will collapse and relations between the 2 countries could deteriorate drastically. To prevent the situation from escalating further, the president has no choice but to order the general to arrest both Kim and Lee. At that moment, Kim is hiding with Lee at Jin Cheol's workplace. But before long, Kang suddenly storms in with a group of armed men. He announces that Kim and Lee will both be sent back to North Korea. Kang warns Kim not to resist because Minji is still under their control. Later, Kim and Lee are placed in separate vehicles and taken to different locations. The North Korean agent kills Lee without hesitation. Kim, meanwhile, is taken directly to Chairman Ju. Remembering all the humiliation he suffered in the past, Chairman Ju is consumed by rage. He smashes a gun against Kim's head. However, he doesn't want to kill Kim immediately. Instead, he intends to torture him slowly. Before anyone can react, Kim grabs the pistol and takes down the guards surrounding him. Just then, Jin Cheol arrives and helps Kim defeat the remaining attackers. As the situation falls apart, Chairman Ju attempts to escape in a car, but Han-soo is already waiting for him in the back seat. Afterward, Kim refuses to believe that Lee could have been killed so easily. Lee is still carrying critical information about North Korea's missile program. Kim forces Chairman Ju to reveal where Lee was taken. Chairman Ju sees an opportunity to negotiate. He promises to help them locate Lee if they agree to spare his life. The 3 men take Chairman Ju with them and reunite with Sang-ah and Lim. Sang-ah has been monitoring the hotel using a drone. She discovers that North Korean agents have moved a large, mysterious bag into the building. Kim immediately suspects that Lee is inside, and he is right. However, rescuing Lee will be extremely difficult. South Korean special forces are guarding the hotel from inside and outside. At the same time, North Korean agents have taken control of the surveillance system and are monitoring everyone's movements. While the team searches for a way inside, Chairman Ju reveals that the hotel has a secret passage leading directly to his private office. More importantly, there are no surveillance cameras along the passage. Lim stays outside to provide support while the others prepare to enter the hotel. After nightfall, everyone disguises themselves as Chairman Ju's employees and drives toward the hotel. Chairman Ju claims that they were sent by the Vice Minister of National Security, allowing them to pass the first security checkpoint. He then leads the group toward the entrance of the secret passage. But nobody realizes that Sean, the North Korean agent, is already waiting there. After entering Chairman Ju's office, Kim obtains the hotel's layout and quickly assigns everyone their roles. At that moment, Chairman Ju secretly takes out his phone and reveals a sinister smile. Before the operation begins, Han-soo ties Chairman Ju up. Jin Cheol then takes down 2 hotel employees, allowing him and Sang-ah to disguise themselves in their uniforms. The 2 then push a food cart toward the control room with Han-soo hidden inside. Meanwhile, Lim disguises himself as a laundry service worker and successfully reaches the designated meeting point. Sang-ah knocks on the door while pretending to deliver food. The moment the door opens, the 3 of them attack and quickly overpower the agents inside. They then access the surveillance system and locate Lee's position. After receiving the information, Kim descends from the rooftop and lands on the balcony outside the target room. He quietly enters, only to discover that the North Korean representative has already finished interrogating Lee and sent everyone else away. The representative tells Lee that he isn't interested in the missile information. What he really wants is the access card to a hidden safe. It turns out that $8 million intended to fund operations against represent South Korea was hidden by Lee years ago. Despite the threats, Lee refuses to reveal its location. The representative angrily raises his gun, but Kim suddenly appears and takes him down in a single move. At this point, they have only 5 minutes left to escape. To distract the enemy, Jin Cheol and Han Soo enter the hallway and begin fighting the North Korean agents. Meanwhile, Sangha remains in the control room and searches for a route leading to the laundry area. Just then, the team leader contacts the control room. When nobody answers, he immediately realizes that something is wrong. Sangha cuts the communication signal and quickly enters an elevator to escape. When the team leader arrives, he orders his men to restore the surveillance system and activate a jammer that blocks all communication signals throughout the hotel. Inside the office, the restrained Chairman Ju begins struggling to free himself. He pulls a lighter from his pocket and burns through the ropes despite the pain. Meanwhile, Kim searches for an escape route while setting traps to slow down the approaching agents. Using their impressive combat skills, Jin Cheol and Han Soo take down wave after wave of attackers. Jin Cheol then enters an elevator packed with agents. Using the narrow space to his advantage, he quickly overwhelms everyone inside. Soon, the surveillance system is restored. The team leader immediately orders his men to activate the EMP device. As the red button is pressed, the entire hotel suddenly goes dark. Outside the laundry area, Lim's prolonged wait makes one of the agents suspicious. With no other choice, Lim drives away before the planned time. At the same time, the North Korean representative regains consciousness. He orders his men to eliminate the two defectors at any cost. By then, Kim and Lee have already reached the escape point. Suddenly, a storm of bullets comes flying toward them. The two are forced to retreat back into the hotel. Although Kim is far stronger than an ordinary man, he is heavily outnumbered. Worse, his opponents are all highly trained operatives. Eventually, Kim and Lee are surrounded and pushed into an extremely dangerous situation. Elsewhere, Han Soo encounters the team leader, and the two engage in a fierce battle. The team leader deliberately forces Han Soo into a narrow kitchen where his movements are restricted. He then repeatedly targets Han Soo's legs. Despite the pain, Han Soo grabs several plates and smashes them against the man's head until he finally loses consciousness. Later, Jin Cheol and Han Soo return to the office, but Chairman Ju has already escaped. He pulls out his phone and shows them a video of 2 children being held captive. He warns that if they harm him, the children will be killed. It turns out that Chairman Ju had already ordered Nam to kidnap Han Soo's son and Jin Cheol's daughter as insurance in case anything happened to him. Back in the hallway, Sangha arrives just in time to help Kim. Together, they take down the remaining enemies. They then place Lee onto a shuttle cart and quickly make their escape. Along the way, Kim throws a grenade behind them to slow down their pursuers. Just then, Sean suddenly appears, determined to kill Lee and avenge his brother. Kim immediately stops him. He explains that he still needs Lee as leverage to secure his daughter's safety. Kim also promises Sean that he will have an opportunity to settle the score later. At that moment, Lim arrives in a truck to pick them up. Fortunately, Sean controls his anger and allows them to leave. Just when everyone thinks the danger is finally over, Kim receives a call from Han Soo. He learns that the 2 children are in serious danger. Kim tells Sangha to take Lee to the hospital while he heads alone to an abandoned building. Inside, Nam is holding the 2 children at gunpoint. Kim knows he can't make any sudden moves, so he follows Chairman Ju's instructions and steps inside the cage. Chairman Ju then gives them 2 choices. Either Kim dies or the 2 children die. Kim feels guilty for dragging his 2 closest friends into the mess. But Chairman Ju has no patience for their emotional moment and orders Nam to open fire. To force Han Soo and Jin Cheol to fight, Kim attacks them first and shouts at them to stop holding back. Even then, they cannot bring themselves to kill him. Kim refuses to fight back as well. Instead, he simply endures every punch they throw at him. But Chairman Ju soon realizes that the 2 men are deliberately holding back, so he gives them one final warning. If Kim is still alive after 5 minutes, he will personally kill the 2 children. This time, Han Soo and Jin Cheol have no choice but to fight with everything they have. Kim silently withstands every blow until he can barely remain standing. Seeing him collapse, Chairman Ju approaches with a smug smile. He mocks Kim and tells him that he will never see his daughter again. But the moment Kim remembers the promise he made to Minji, his expression suddenly changes. His eyes turn cold as he grabs Chairman Ju. At the same time, Jin Cheol and Han Soo kick through the wire fence. They rush toward Nam and quickly overpower him. It turns out that Kim had secretly revealed his plan to them only a few minutes earlier. During the fight, Kim deliberately kept crashing into the fence to gradually weaken its frame. Once the plan succeeds, the 3 men teach Chairman Ju a painful lesson and leave him hanging outside the building. Meanwhile, the negotiations between North and South Korea proceed smoothly. Lee also wakes up in the hospital, but before he can relax, the general enters his room and demands information about North Korea's missile program. Lee makes one final request. He wants to be sent to Macau and granted asylum. The general agrees to his demand. Lee then finally hands over the military intelligence he has been hiding. That night, however, Kim disguises himself as a doctor and secretly enters Lee's hospital room. He injects Lee with a sedative, places him inside an ambulance, and drives into a tunnel. Sean is already waiting there. Kim keeps his promise and hands Lee over to Sean. But instead of killing him immediately, Sean chooses a much more painful form of revenge. Before leaving, he tells Kim that no matter what happens, he must live a good life with his daughter. The following day, Lee wakes up on a beach and initially believes that he has finally escaped. But then he discovers that the access card hidden inside his body is missing. Even worse, North Korean soldiers suddenly begin approaching him. Meanwhile, Kim contacts an old friend and asks him to bring down Juhok Construction once and for all. His friend agrees to help but warns Kim that the favor will come with a price. Soon afterward, prosecutors raid Juhok Construction. They uncover Chairman Ju's crimes, including bribery, corruption, and betrayal of his own country. Even Haeri, who has fled overseas, becomes an international fugitive wanted by Interpol. While Chairman Ju is being transferred, Golden Teeth suddenly appears. He attacks Chairman Ju and stabs him several times. After everything is finally over, the general keeps his promise and agrees to give Kim his freedom. However, there is one condition. Kim must disappear from the world completely. Not long afterward, North Korean intelligence receives a report confirming that Kim is dead. The North Korean government doesn't investigate further. Instead, they erase every record connected to him. After everything they have endured, Kim finally reunites with Minji. The two receive new identities and move somewhere no one knows them. For the first time, they can finally begin a peaceful new life together. Later, the three retired agents put on their new glasses and once again try to live like ordinary fathers. But at the very end, Kim decides to repay an old friend's favor. Following his friend's instructions, he visits a labor agency. When he encounters the enemies waiting inside, Kim immediately recognizes the situation. Without hesitation, he steps forward and assumes the fighting stance he thought he had left behind forever.